comes from the book of Daniel, chapter 5, from verse 1. Do you know the meaning of Mene, Tekel, Parsin in the Bible? Let us find out. Daniel 5, verse 1. Belshazzar the king invited 1,000 of his soldiers to a great feast where the wine flowed freely. While Belshazzar was drinking, he was reminded of the gold and silver cups taken long before from the temple in Jerusalem during Nebuchadnezzar's reign and brought to Babylon. Belshazzar ordered that these sacred cups be brought in to the feast, when they arrived, he and his princesses and his prince, wives and concubines drank toasts from them to their idols made of gold and silver, brass and iron, wood and stone. Suddenly, as they were drinking from these cups, they saw the fingers of a man's hand writing on the plaster of the wall opposite to the lampstand. The king himself saw the fingers as they wrote. Chapter 6. His face blushed with fear, and such terror gripped him that his knees knocked together and his legs gave way beneath him. Chapter 7. Bring these magicians and astrologers, he screamed. Bring the Chaldeans. Whoever reads that writing on the wall and tells me what it means will be dressed in purple robes of royal honor with a gold chain around his neck and become the third ruler in the kingdom. Chapter 8. But when they came, none of them could understand the writing or tell him what it meant. Chapter 9. The king grew more, verse 9, not chapter 9, verse. Chapter 5, from verse 1, now I'm at verse 9. The king grew more and more hysterical. His face reflected the terror he felt, and his officers too were shaken. But when the queen mother heard what was happening, she rushed to the banquet hall and said to Belshazzar, "Calm yourself, your majesty. Don't be so pale and frightened over this." Verse 11, For there is a man in your kingdom who has within him the spirit of the holy gods. In the days of your father, this man was found to be as full of wisdom and understanding as though he were himself a god. And in the reign of King Belshazzar, he was made chief of all magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsaying of Babylon. Chapter 12. Call for this man, Daniel, or Belteshazzar, as the king called him. For his mind is filled with divine knowledge and understanding. He can interpret dreams, explain riddles, and solve knotty problems. He will tell you what the writing means. Verse 13. So Daniel was rushed in to see the king. The king asked him, "Are you the Daniel that King Nebuchadnezzar brought from Israel as a Jewish captive? I have heard that you have the spirit of the gods within you, and that you were filled with enlightenment and wisdom. My wise men and astrologers have tried to read that writing on the wall and tell me what it means, but they can't. I'm told that you can solve all kinds of mysteries. If you can tell me the meaning of these words, I will clothe you in purple robes with a golden chain around your neck and make you the third ruler in the kingdom." Daniel answered, "Keep your gifts or give them to someone else, but I will tell you what they mean. Your Majesty, the Most High God gave Nebuchadnezzar, who long ago preceded you, a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. He gave him such majesty that all the nations of the world trembled before him in fear. He killed any who offered him, and spared any he liked. At his whim, they rose or fell. But when his heart and mind were hardened in pride, God removed him his royal throne and took away his glory. Verse 21. And he was chased out of the palace into the fields. His thoughts and feelings became those of an animal, and he lived among the wild donkeys. He ate grass like the cows of his body, and wet with the dew of heaven, until at last he knew that the Most High overrules the kingdoms of men, and that he appoints anyone he desires to reign over them. So, chapter 22. And you, his successor, O Belshazzar, you knew all this, yet you have not been humble, for you have defied the Lord of heaven, and brought here these cups from his temple. And you and your officers and wives and concubines have been drinking wine from them while praising gods of silver. Okay, let's continue. Gold, brass, iron, wood, and stone. Gods that neither see nor hear, nor know anything at all. But you have not praised the God who gave you the breath of life and controls your destiny. And so God sent those fingers and write this message. Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsin. Now let's see what it means. This is what it means. Mene means numbered. God has numbered the days of your reign, and the year ended. Tekel means weighed. You have been weighed in God's balances and have failed the tests. Parsin means divided. Your kingdom will be divided and given to the Medes and Persans. Then, at Belshazzar's command, Daniel was robed in purple, and a golden chain and a golden chain was hung around his neck, and he was proclaimed that ruler of the kingdom. And that night, Belshazzar, the Chaldean king, was killed, and Darius the Mede entered the city and began reigning at the age of 62. That is the word of the Lord from Daniel 5, from verse 1 to verse 30. A lot of lessons to be learned in there. But I will insist on this. Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsin. What are you doing now? Are your actions as a leader, are your actions in a place where God has given you authority, making your days be numbered? Are you considerate of your actions? Anyway, we can't say much, but all I will say is God bless you. Read this word by yourselves, Daniel 5, 1 to 30. It has a lot of lessons in it. And also follow Beletta Blessed TikTok channel, where I do Bible verses every morning. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. You are amazing, and you're highly blessed by God Most High. Thank you.